Hello again, everyone. I wanted to make this video today because Jake the Snake Roberts still seems to harbor some resentment and bitterness towards Hulk Hogan. I guess he went on the Joe Rogan Experience. Now forgive me because I didn't realize that this interview actually took place 5 years ago. But I had just seen that someone had cut it into a YouTube short where Jake and Joe Rogan are talking about Hulk Hogan's match with Andre the Giant at WrestleMania 3, and Roberts is seemingly downplaying the fact that Hulk Hogan slammed Andre the Giant.
When Hulk Hogan picks him up over his head.
Slams him, yeah.
That was fucking insane. How much did he weigh?
550.
550 pounds. Now, 550 pounds just hoisting over your head with a bar, with an Olympic bar, is impressive.
Yeah.
But to do it with dead weight with a man?
Well, the thing about it is, it wouldn't happen unless Andre wanted you to.
Really? Jake? Way to expose the business, man. I mean, some people aren't going to like that. I mean, does he really think Joe Rogan is that big of a mark that he doesn't know pro wrestling is a work? Or maybe he just didn't get the memo that Vince McMahon exposed the business 35 years ago.
Because he's going to boost himself.
Of course.
Yeah.
But then if you read some of the comments, there's actually a lot of people doubling down on Roberts downplaying the slam and agreeing with him. But you know, I bet a lot of these people are the same wrestling fans who get offended if you say pro wrestling is fake. But at the same time, they imply that Hulk Hogan's slam of Andre was somehow fake or illegitimate.
If you look where Andre's hands are, you see
he helps.
that he helps him pull him still.
Now, I'm not saying Andre didn't give Hogan any help, but let's take a look at the slam. So if you look at the way Hogan picks him up, he scoops him. I mean, look at what he does when he has Andre in mid-air. He picks him up, he scoops him, and he holds him up there for a second. So you're trying to say that Andre the Giant did some kind of a mid-air somersault? And Robert goes on to say that, you know, he used Hogan's leg for leverage. So he's leveraging himself off of Hogan. So Hogan's carrying that weight. Andre's not doing a mid-air somersault. Look where his legs are. Hogan scoops him up and slams him. Now, Hogan has claimed that he tore his back and both biceps during that slam. Jake Roberts himself went on to claim that he slammed Andre.
He had me pick him up and slam him one night.
And I looked it up, but according to Wrestling Inc., they've got a list of all the individuals and tag teams who slammed Andre the Giant, and they didn't have Jake Roberts on it. And I realize it's possible that, you know, maybe Roberts slammed him at a house show and there's no real record of it or footage of it. I mean, we'll have to take Jake Roberts' word for it. But among the people who had slammed Andre prior to Hogan slamming him at WrestleMania 3, Hogan did slam Andre in 1980 on August 22nd at WWF's Sundown at Shea Stadium event when Hogan was a heel and Andre was the baby face. But it really is interesting that Jake the Snake Roberts would be so bitter and downplay Hogan's slam of Andre at WrestleMania 3, especially when you consider what Bret the Hitman Hart had to say about Hogan's match with Andre years later.
If you had to rate Hogan versus Andre out of 5 stars, how many stars would you give it?
I'd give it 5 stars. I thought it was the best. I thought it was the best match Andre ever had.
And you know, Hulk Hogan and Bret the Hitman Hart haven't always seen eye to eye. But the fact that Jake Roberts would downplay Hulk Hogan's slam of Andre the Giant in WrestleMania 3 just indicates me that he still harbors some bitterness and resentment towards Hogan from things that may have went down in the past. But I was there at WrestleMania 3. I saw it happen. I was 12 years old. I wasn't quite 12 years old. And that place was electric. 93,000 fans. And I've been to some big sporting events. I've been lucky enough. You know, I've been to World Series games, NBA Finals, football games at the Big House. Michigan Stadium in Ann Arbor. I've been at big concerts. I saw when Robert Plant and Jimmy Page reunited in 1995, and I've never been to an event that was that electric when Hulk Hogan slammed Andre. I mean, that was the real deal. But to think about why Jake Roberts might be this bitter about Hulk Hogan all these years later, let's take a look back to this interview Jake Roberts did with Wrestling News Co. I'll link to the full interview in the description, where apparently Hogan and the Snake were scheduled to do a program in the late 80s, but apparently the brakes were put on that program after an appearance Hogan made on the Snake Pit.
I know in house shows you did compete against Hulk Hogan a few different times, but there was never an on-screen storyline between you two. Why didn't this ever happen for wrestling fans?
It did happen. It was filmed in Tucson, Arizona, and we did it on a Snake Pit, but the crowd wouldn't cooperate. One time the wrestling fans I hated because after I DDT'd him, we went back to the back to hear him come up to his feet, you know, and rip his shirt off and beat his chest and come looking for Jake the Snake. But instead of that happening, he came to his feet, beat his chest, but the people started chanting DDT, DDT. And Vince said, we can't have that. So therefore, it was nixed. We actually showed that in 2 markets. One market being Providence, Rhode Island, and the other one being Montreal. And we sold out both places. But the fans were split 50-50, and Vince couldn't have that because it messes with the marketing. So they ixnayed it.
So the program with Jake the Snake and Hulk Hogan was canceled, and I imagine this probably plays a pretty big role. After all these years, Jake the Snake to still be downplaying Hulk Hogan's slam of Andre the Giant at WrestleMania 3 as if it's illegitimate, or it was all Andre, Hogan hardly had anything to do with it. I imagine this probably has something to do with it. But I thought it was pretty interesting to see Jake the Snake downplaying Hulk Hogan's victory over Andre the Giant at WrestleMania 3. Let me know what you guys think. We'll see you next time.
Who's here?